Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hey, Jackie-cation here. Welcome to the Dork Forest. It's November or December of 2022. You're about to listen to the Dork Forest. My name is Jackie-cation. The website's, of course, jackie-cation.com, dorkforest.com, thedorkforest.com. If you enjoy a determiner. Anyway, November and December, I ask that you do not donate to the Dork Forest, that instead you donate to your local food bank, because it's a nice holiday kind of wintry thing to do. And if you don't know where your local food bank is, you can go to feedingamerica.org, or you can Google the words that are your town's name and the word food bank. Hey, sarcasm. Jackie-cation.com is where everything is linked. Like if you go to dorkforest.com, you can see all the notes, and it'll link you to the YouTube videos for the Dork Forest and Apple podcasts, and it's on Stitcher. It's on all the things. Anyway, so jackie-cation.com will link you to everything. Dork Forest will link you back to jackie-cation.com and to everything else. There is merch. If you have some sort of holiday wish to purchase a Dork Forest t-shirt, the logo is now on a black shirt with the logo in that bright green that the Ranger t-shirt used to be. Sold out of the Ranger shirts, discontinued. Also, I have some stand-up shirts that are squish t-shirts. If you wanted a meat shield t-shirt, I have limited sizes left, but that's still a benefit for to help immigrants and anti-racism stuff. So if you want, go look around jackie-cation.com store for your store needs. I also have a new album out that's playing almost nowhere. That's right, because of legal issues with something called Spoken Giants. Very disappointing. So the special itself is on YouTube, on the 800-Pound Gorilla YouTube channel, linkable off of jackie-cation.com. You can also get a DVD or a CD at jackie-cation.com. The CD itself is listenable at places where you can buy it. So at Apple iTunes and at Amazon Music. You could also stream it there. If you buy it, I make more money. But if you want to stream it, do whatever you want. But it's not on Pandora. It's not on Spotify. It's not on Sirius XM. And neither are my 4 other albums. But do whatever you want because it's your life. There we go. What else is happening? I'm touring. I'm doing a lot of stand-up on the road. Feel free to come. Feel free to sign up for the email list at jackie-cation.com. Harder to get on because you got to find how you put it in to get off, which is you scroll and hit unsubscribe. But all of these things are available on jackie-cation.com. I'm coming to do stand-up probably near you. If not near you, near someone you love. Tell them. Anyway, let's dork out about something. Let's get into the show. Hi, I'm Jackie-cation, and I'm about to sneeze. But before I do that, welcome to the Dork Forest, Keith Nahanee. How you doing?
Great, thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
Right. Canadian comic, native, like Indigenous or Hawaiian. Okay, so
Indigenous Hawaiian,
and all of it, right? I mean, I am. All of our ancestors come together.
Yeah, so I have Scottish. I have English.
There you go. So there's both colonizer and and colonized. It's so beautiful. You bring it together. Keith Nahanee is a comic who's going to be on a Canadian show called Comedy Invasion. You're from Vancouver, but it's going to be available everywhere on Amazon Prime and Roku and Tubi and AAM.TV, you guys. Who knows what that is? Whatever. But Keith, welcome to the Dork Forest. Your Facebook and Instagram, it's Bubba's Comedy Show. And so bubbascomedyshow.com is the website, and Instagram is Bubba's_comedy, and Facebook has a Facebook page under Bubba's Comedy Show. But probably bubbascomedyshow.com has links to all of that stuff. I can't wait to see your set. I have, it's just, I was like, let's do something. Let's mix it up. Let's get some, I'm going to Canada next week, I think it is. I'm going to Toronto. So I thought, let's get some Canadian dorks on this thing. Let's bring it. And welcome to the Dork Forest.
Awesome.
So your dorkdom, I like the idea of saying let's just get this out of the, because I always get a list from people. Let's just get this out of the way. You collect Metallica stuff, not the music, but like tchotchke stuff?
Well, mostly T-shirts and DVDs. I have
Oh,
like almost 44 different DVDs with them just on it. I probably have close to 100 T-shirts.
what's the,
Um,
how about you have 40, you have many of their shows on DVD? Is that what it is?
yeah, there's the documentaries. There's Bonnaroo Festival they were at in 2008, where I traveled to Bonnaroo
Oh,
in Nashville and went to
okay,
see them. And my
right.
wife actually met them there.
Oh my God.
So
Um,
I'm part of the Metallica club. And
sure, your Kiss has an army. You're a part of the Metallica club.
yeah, and so to start my own chapter, I have to have 3 members inside the Metallica club. Well, there's my brother who introduced me to Metallica.
All right,
And I'm like, I
sure.
just need one more. So I secretly signed my wife up.
You're like, I just need seed money. I just need seed bodies to get this thing off the ground. Let's do this. And so you
So
secretly, is she a fan?
she is now. We didn't meet him before we got together in 2003.
Right, right. I myself, I know of a Metallica Beatles mashup band called
Oh,
called
yes.
Beatallica. Have you seen
Yeah,
Beatallica?
I have their CD.
Oh, there you go. I babysat for the lead singer, Tinker.
No way.
Yeah,
Really?
him and his little sister. Yeah, they're from Wisconsin.
Cool.
It's weird, and but I do love because he sounds like that lead singer guy.
I run a comedy show outside our backyard called Granny's Corner.
Okay.
And all the local comics come here and do comedy sets during the summer, July and August.
Uh-huh.
And I played that CD before the show.
And was it a hit? Were people like,
Some
what is
people
it?
were just like, yeah, they were like, okay, it sounds like the Beatles, but
But not,
it's
yeah, but not really. Here's my question about Granny's Corner. Was your grandmother involved?
no, it's actually my wife.
Okay.
Her nickname's Granny.
Oh, I love that she's owning it. You got to own it eventually. You're just like, yeah, yeah, we're
She
eventually.
she was brought up by her grandparents.
Oh, okay.
So in our culture, by the time she was age 11, she knew a lot of our culture. And one of the elders said, "You're just like a little granny." And then it just stuck with her.
Oh, that's kind of awesome. That's a much better way than the aging process, I think.
And
Do you,
all the support that she gave me to get into comedy.
yeah,
Once I figured I was going to do the backyard because I wasn't getting any gigs.
right. Well, sometimes you got to
Um,
produce your own gigs to get gigs
yeah, so
for real.
I did have Bubba's comedy show, but in the backyard, because it's her backyard, I moved in with her.
Right.
I just wanted to honor her with her own comedy show.
Well, that's very beautiful. And yeah,
Bring me
do,
some
do you
brownie
guys have
points.
kids? Do you
Yes, we do.
couple of
We have a blended family.
It's so beautiful. I love a blended family. I'm part of a blended family.
Yeah,
I have a lot of siblings, and they keep bringing in a lot of children into their lives, and you're like, good, yeah,
yeah.
somebody should.
So we have a 20-year-old, 25-year-old, 28-year-old, and a 33-year-old,
Wow. All right then.
and 2 grandsons, and one
Neat.
on the way. Yeah,
So she's an actual, in fact, granny, as
yeah.
opposed to, in addition to just being granny. Are you
Yeah,
called grandpa?
Papa
Papa.
Bubba's.
Yes, Papa Bubba's. I love it. Okay, so you've clearly seen Metallica a great deal. You
26
enjoy
times.
26. Okay. All right. Do you know that the email just implied that you collected stuff, not that you enjoyed the music. It's I I what I feel like I've had other Metallica dorks on. I still, for the life of me, could not name a Metallica song. But I know that I've heard them, right? I've been to grocery stores.
Yeah.
I've been to gas stations. It's not like Metallica isn't super popular and they're played
Yeah.
all the time. What's your favorite Metallica song offhand? Or one of them?
One of them, probably one of the newer, the latest ones that most people don't like is off of it's called Cyanide.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one. It's got a fast beat.
The kids can
Um,
dance to it. How about the lyrics?
how lyric wise,
Or is it just you just like the beat and you like to sort of jam out to it?
I like the lyrics, but mostly I like the rhythm. The whole
Okay.
reason why I like Metallica is because of James.
Okay.
James just
Which
doesn't give
one's
a shit about anyone. He's the singer.
he's the lead singer, James?
Yeah.
All right.
Am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, swear it
Okay.
up. Fucking A. Why not? Who am I to
Yeah.
say?
So he's very confident. He's very quiet. He's just the way he presents himself. He's very confident, and that was something I didn't have growing up. So I looked up to him because of that.
Okay. And he
Yeah.
sort of gave that to you through the music. You're
Yeah.
just, yeah, I've done that where I've listened to music and I'm just like, I don't know how to process my rage, but this band seems to be doing a really good job of it. And so I'm going to scream this music along with them.
So
And
just a fast thing
Yeah.
about Nashville 2008, where I signed my wife up to be part of my chapter.
Yes.
So when you go to a Metallica concert and you're part of the Metallica club, they have a lottery where you say, okay, this is concert I'm going to, this concert I'm going to, and you get entered into a meet and greet.
Oh,
So I've been a fan of them since 1988.
okay.
I secretly signed my wife up in 2008.
Yeah.
I went into her profile on Metallica Club, said, hey, I'm going to this one. Guess who won the meet and greet? My fucking
Did she
wife.
go? Did she go?
Yes, she did.
You're like, you are clearly coming to this because then I get to meet them. Because did she get a +1, of course, right?
No, she didn't. No.
They
I
don't
got to
let
go.
you.
No, I got to go to their barbecue, which they weren't there. But
Okay.
I got to go. They had a barbecue for the members club that all went to the show, and then just the ones who won the meet and greet got to go meet them.
I don't know that I approve of that, Metallica.
Oh, right.
I think if you do a contest like that, you should definitely have a +1
Yeah.
because what if you're married to someone who secretly signs you up for something? What about that?
Right.
Or you should be able to say, I'm not feeling well. I think my husband's going to go in my stead.
Yeah.
It'd be like,
I tried that. They said no.
not a chance. Not
But
a
I
chance.
had everything organized. I have these pictures. I had a Canadian flag with a Native American on the front.
Nice.
And my dad cut out the Metallica throwing star
Okay.
and he sewed it on the
Oh,
flag.
yeah.
So my wife brought it in and they all signed it. And that day was my birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, that is both awesome and it makes me tear up a little bit. Come on, it's his birthday.
So Lars put on there, "Happy birthday, Keith Lars." He's the drummer, and
Okay.
it was still
That's
a good.
very.
It was
That's
still a
it's
good
still
deal.
pretty neat. It's still pretty
Yeah.
cool. And
Yeah.
will if you win, can you win again? I wonder.
I think after so many years, you can.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
after a length of time, you can re-enter.
Right.
But I'm
Because
not
then
going to enter her.
no, you can enter yourself,
Yeah.
and then hopefully you will win.
Yeah.
And so that is amazing. Okay, just so you know, I think we're about 15 minutes in. Let me just remind everybody, I'm talking to Keith Nahanee, and he's going to be on Comedy Invasion, which is on Amazon and Roku and Tubi and something called aam.tv. And are you working this week? We're in the end of November, December. Are there anything local that Canadians could come and see you do stand up?
Yes, tomorrow night I'm at the Lounge in Vancouver on a comedy show called Chill Pill Comedy.
Oh, fun. Okay, that's great.
Yeah. And then on Friday I'm having my own premiere of my episode of Comedy Invasion here in North Vancouver at the
Okay.
Presentation House Theater.
Oh, that's awesome. I think unless those dates are past November 29th,
Is the
that's when this will air.
world
November.
stream, yeah.
Yeah, then we're okay. So go to Bubba'sComedyShow.com and find the dates. Hopefully, or just tag him on Instagram or something and go, where are you now?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Cyanide is currently, and that's on a newer album?
Well, it's 2008. But
oh gosh, all right.
They've had so many years in between albums because they've been so busy doing filming stuff and
Okay. So they
rehab and
right, right. They're trying to get their act together in so many ways, in different ways.
yeah.
And how many albums do they have?
I believe it's. Oh, I'm gonna get killed for this by
Oh,
the other Metallica freaks. I think 11.
okay. Well, that's plenty. And so seems plenty of albums over the course of 30 years, especially if they take time between them.
Yeah.
Are they pretty different album to album, or do they have a sound that kind of reminds you of
They
the previous stuff?
did slow down in some of them, then they picked up and
Okay. So
yeah.
there's the roller skating backwards um album of Metallica that I might enjoy that album. I do enjoy I tend to like the sort of those ballads that heavy metal bands will do sometimes.
Yeah.
And the ones that are for some reason they had for in the 80s and 90s, I believe they had to, like somebody did one. It sold like a gajillion copies. And so the label was like, could you guys put something, just something that the girls will like, or they'll like just make it into something like they'll usually blame it on women. But
Yeah.
but I know a lot of guys who like Beth, that Kiss song Beth.
Yeah.
And
I remember that in grade 8.
it was, I think, White Snake, Here I Go Again.
Yeah.
These are the songs that I can remember from, and I don't even know if they're considered heavy metal or I mean, I think that there's different categories within
Glam
with
metal.
like glam or hair or
Yeah.
death metal.
Yeah.
Metallica seems pretty straightforward, just sort of heavy metal, right?
Yeah.
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 And okay, well, do you know when they're going to play next? Do you think you'll see them again?
As in coming to Vancouver or Seattle, I go to both Seattle and Vancouver shows.
Okay.
I mean, Bonnaroo was awesome because Chris Rock opened up for Metallica at the Bonnaroo Festival.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That was awesome. He was great.
Here's my comedy question, because Metallica asked me to open for them, and I've never really opened for a lot of music. I once opened for a very famous singer whose name I can't remember. Anyway, but she did ballads. But my question is did anyone from Metallica come out and introduce Chris Rock or tell the audience that it was going to be Chris Rock?
No, the music
just
festival organizer did.
Just that was it, and
then Chris said, "Are you guys ready for the loudest motherfuckers in the world?"
Yeah.
There was 85,000 people at that.
Did he do jokes?
Yeah.
And then he was like, "I'm just gonna do some material while they get their act together, and then they're gonna come out and and people were nice to him because he is Chris Rock. He's gonna get more cred than just a regular comic going out going, I'm supposed to do 15 minutes, you guys."
2019, I took my boys down to Vegas. One was graduating high school and the other I just brought because he'd be jealous. And Jim Brewer opened up for Metallica there.
Okay, so they like a certain, there's a reason why they're not getting sober. I would say this anyway, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. And then the other best Metallica one in 2005, Metallica opened for the Rolling Stones.
Oh my gosh.
Francisco. So that was amazing.
Concert. So you went to San Francisco and saw Metallica and the Rolling Stones?
Yeah. It was amazing.
That sounds kind of like a concert of a lifetime to see. Kind of. Yeah, where you're just like, all right, I win.
In 92, I did see Metallica with Guns N' Roses. That tour they did. Yeah.
Okay.
And Motorhead opened up for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I'm a dork with Metallica.
Yeah. You have some serious, and you have like 100 T-shirts?
I have roughly 100 T-shirts. A lot of them I bought through the club.
Okay. Oh, the
club.
I
do have one that the Rolling Stones didn't approve. So it showed a kid with a box of fireworks.
Yeah.
And it said Rolling Stones, and on the back it showed the fireworks after it exploded. And then it said Metallica. So the Stones took it as, "We're gonna blow you out of here." And
Ugh.
that's not what they meant. So the Stones said, no, you can't sell those t-shirts. So they sold them to their club members, and I bought one right away.
Oh, right away. Yeah,
And
right
then
away.
I get people, we'll see.
Do you have that one?
No, I don't. No.
All of a sudden, so I just Googled I just Googled Rolling Stones um, Metallica T-shirt, and
Oh,
that's what came up, which is interesting.
no, that's not it.
But that wasn't it, Jackie. That was
I
wait, was
get
it?
I get people,
Does that look
no,
like it?
that's the one
That was the
they
official one.
sold. Yeah.
Okay.
At the show, but the one they didn't sell, um, I don't know if there's any of that on the internet.
Oh, you'd think that that the Rolling Stones they got the kind of money that could scrub that. They could scrub that
Right.
from the internet.
Yeah.
And
I
but
have
Metallica
people,
also has the kind of money that could be like, we're gonna slip in a couple.
yeah, I have people that will find a t-shirt and buy it, and they'll come and bring it to me.
Aw, as well
Yeah.
they ought, because they're huge. I mean, it's there are some. I have some very cool fan gifts. You know, people who are fans of stuff are amazing. I had somebody make me a Hot Wheels.
Oh,
It's an El Camino. Keith,
wicked.
it's ridiculous. This is for my other podcast. Rangers have done equally cool things,
Wow.
but this is for the Jackie and Laurie show. It's a Hot Wheel where they made the card, and then I don't know what year this El Camino is or why I would be an El Camino, but it does make me
What
happy.
car would you be?
Right? I don't know. What car
You
would
don't
I
know?
be?
No?
Would I think it would be a Toyota Camry, a 97.
Yeah. Oh,
Because it's my dream road car, because the
Yeah.
the 1997 Toyota Camry is the greatest car in the world. It would there are still 97 Camrys running this day,
Yeah.
to this
Yeah.
day. And when you do stand-up comedy on the road in your car, you need a car that's going to start at 50 below. You need a car that's going to run forever and can be fixed easily by anyone who knows how a combustion engine works. And the Camry, a little big for what I like for my third thing, which is what I had a Mazda hatchback for a long time,
Oh, yeah.
and it was a stick. And the great thing about a Mazda 323 hatchback with a stick is that you can pop it into neutral and push it to the side of the road yourself, so
Yeah.
that you're not a burden when it breaks down.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's gonna break down.
Yeah.
But there are, I don't know if I'm going to hijack your episode of the Dork Forest, Keith.
Mhm. Yeah.
There are Hot Wheels that I enjoy that are called character cars. Andy collects hundreds of them. I have 7 because they are essentially Hot Wheels, and they're themed like Marvel and Star Wars and many other things. But the idea of a Marvel character car, the idea of a Hot Wheel character car is not the car that someone would drive if they drove that car, but the car that they would be. Like, this is a Princess Leia car.
Oh, yes.
Do you see her ears?
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is her hair. And this is a young Han Solo car. Oh, wait, no, this might be Mandalorian.
Boba Fett?
It might be Boba Fett. I think I'm wrong. I think you're right. I think it is Boba Fett. And they would say, I think, nope, it's the Mandalorian.
Oh, wow.
Which was funny because that's what Boba Fett, the TV show, turned into.
Yes.
It turned into the Mandalorian. But here's my first one I got is Bugs Bunny.
Oh, awesome.
See that? See his nose?
Yeah,
See the grill?
Yeah.
See his spoiler? Huh?
That's awesome.
See the
I've
running?
never seen that. Yeah.
The running board?
Yeah.
Got a carrot on it? Come on.
Yeah.
His
That's
ears?
awesome.
His ears are up high? That's
Yeah.
good times. Anyway, I've
I love
digressed.
Bugs Bunny.
I love Bugs Bunny.
I can't believe that. I think it was. Can't remember what stream and I was watching, and when Bugs Bunny hits someone, now the camera will move and you'll just hear pow, 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 and then they go back, and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You're editing Bugs Bunny now."
You
That
know,
is so lame.
there is a science fiction novel that has predicted this, because the thing is there's two different things going on here. There is a genuine desire to move civilization forward, right? And then there is, and that can be muddied where people say snowflakes, oversensitive, stuff like that. And then there is genuine retconning of people smoking, like when Spielberg replaced the guns with walkie-talkies in ET. Did you see
Really?
that? Did you hear about
I've
that?
never seen ET.
He put it. Oh, you've never seen the movie ET? I don't know that it would hold up. It there is a window of ET, and you may have missed that window, Keith.
Okay. Yeah.
but
Wow.
but the FBI agents have guns, and they want to shoot ET.
Jeez.
But so Spielberg created a sort of a he retroactively
Yeah.
fixed it. He replaced all the guns with walkie-talkies.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Now that is excessive to me, right? Like replacing all of the alcohol in the science fiction book. It's called the Company series by a woman named Cage Baker, and it's immortality and time travel series that do both of those things right, because it's not too dense and it's not too heavy, but it's super smart and really fun. Cage is with a K-A-G-E, Cage Baker.
Okay.
But she wrote this stuff in the 90s and the 2000s, and she literally predicted that replacing the moving away from that kind of thing.
Jeez.
And she predicted us all carrying our own sippy cups, adults carrying sippy cups. She predicted it. At one point she did, right? She did predict something that has not happened, where the world goes vegan. And so they release all of the dogs and all of the chickens. And it turns out the dogs win. There are no more chickens.
Yeah. Jeez.
Which of
wild.
course is a great crime against food, because I love chicken.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of things that could be retconned, your other dorkdom, because we're about halfway through, I would say. And let me see, is that about right? I think so. I forgot to check. Whatever. We'll talk until we're bored. And but the scoop is this: you picked some TV shows from the 70s and 80s that could be retcon, that could be fixed, and I say that with a quote fingers, like the Rockford Files. As the Rockford Files is actually, first of all, I love James Garner in all iterations, right? But how does the Rockford? That's one of your favorite shows, according to your list.
Yeah, it is. It's something my dad used to watch.
Sure.
So I watched it with him. Plus, I love the theme song. The theme song's just rocks. And
I don't know the theme
my
song.
buddy had the Rockford File car, the Firebird, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Firebird. And well, it was his mom's, but we used to practice the Rockford File. We'd go in reverse and throw it in the drive. And
oh, that sounds safe. Let's yeah. And
but yeah, a lot of the actors in there, I do remember. And when I was in elementary school and I'd be sick, it'd be on during the day. So that was one thing I watched during the day when I was homesick.
oh, right. Because if you're homesick, you always end up watching weird. That's how I watched General Hospital and Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
I was like, I would never normally watch this, but I have a cold and my stepmother is watching this. I guess I too care about what's happening in Patch's life. But Rockford Files, no, I did like, because he was, there was a lot of sort of like sexy hot pants of the ladies, but there was also like Jim Rockford was always on the side of the little guy, right? He was always, and he was such a he lived in Venice Beach in a trailer.
In a trailer.
Yeah, and you're like, all right, well, this guy isn't the most successful guy in the world.
Sort of reminds me of our tribal police here.
Well, they're doing what they can. Come on. They don't have a lot of they don't have all that military equipment that is just thrown at
The
do
movie
they?
that reminds me of Rockford Files is oh shit, Bruce Willis is in it. And
Oh,
he's a detective. What's it called?
Die Hard?
No.
He is a detective.
Oh, geez. And the guy from Rockford Files is the detective in there.
Okay.
Ah,
It's the guy who played Huggy Bear?
yeah.
Okay.
He's
I did
always
an episode about Rockford Files.
Oh,
I
really?
just remembered that I believe in the last year I've talked about the Rockford Files, because this guy Huggy Bear was his favorite guy that was his favorite character, and
Doesn't age.
it also doesn't age very well. Yeah, so you picked literally this list doesn't age well. This is like the Three's Company
Yeah. I
that
still love
deals
that one.
with homosexuality, and it's just like it's so much gay baiting and so much like he's gay, and you're like, I'm gonna lie and say I'm gay. And
Yeah.
but it's so interesting because a lot of like there's so much stuff that happens, I think, in Hollywood where they're like, let's try to introduce regular people about homosexuality or Black people or anything, quite honestly, that
You know,
isn't straight white guys, Latinos. Like, you remember Freddie Prinze was in Chico and the Man?
yeah,
Did you ever
yeah,
see Chico and the Man? I love
yeah,
Chico and the Man.
yeah. I haven't watched it, sure.
And he was like
Uh,
the first, yeah.
The Last Boy Scout, that's what the movie was called.
Oh, there you
That
go.
reminds me of a movie version of Rockford Files.
Oh, interesting. I
Yeah.
haven't, I like Bruce Willis a great deal too. I would watch that. But Three's Company, it had Mrs. Roper. Somebody just referenced Mrs. Roper, by the way, in my life. There was a heckler who was wearing a lot of gauzy layers, like a dragonfly kind of looked like.
Yeah.
And she said that she's like, my friends call me Mrs. Roper. And she was being kicked out of the comedy club. And she goes, Mrs. Roper out. And I was like, okay.
Wow. Huh.
All right, own it, lady. So did you like the early seasons of Three's Company or the later when it was?
Probably the mid to later.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You're willing to stick it out, man. You're like, I'll do a later's Metallica album. I'll do a late season Three's Company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. So Three's Company, it's it's a lot of sexual stuff that is just can get you in trouble at work today.
oh yeah. It turns out everybody's at work, but they weren't. They would go down to the what was the name of the bar that they went to?
Regal Beagle.
The Regal Beagle.
We have one here in Vancouver.
Called the Regal Beagle?
Yep.
Is there a picture of a beagle with a crown? That's what I want.
No.
No. Is there a picture of Three's Company? I want there to be a beagle with a crown. If you're going to call it the Regal Beagle, I would like there to be some sort of.
Actually, I sometimes I get put on a comedy show next to the Regal Beagle. It's called The Glitch.
Okay.
And I go do shows there, and I've always wanted to go in the Regal Beagle, but because we have to travel from North Van to Vancouver, which doesn't seem far, but it'll take us about anywhere from half hour to 45 minutes to get there. I have to wait for my wife to get off work, go through traffic, and then by the time we get there, the show's ready to go, and we don't get to go in the Regal Beagle.
Is it like a gastropub? Like, do they have food stuff? Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, if you do make it in there, and they have a suggestion box, dog with a hat.
Yeah.
Okay, tell them about it. So you've got Three's Company, the Rockford Files, Married with Children. That wasn't positive when it happened. There was trouble. There was trouble while that occurred. That was like a backlash to the first, hey, try not to be a dick movement. And they were like, no, we're going to double down. We're doubling down on being a dick. And it was the meanest sitcom I think I've ever seen. And I used to watch, I used to try to watch Seinfeld, and that was super mean for me.
Yeah.
But Married with Children, it was everybody was so mean. What did you love about it?
Just that's almost the kind of humor we have on the reserve. Like
Okay.
everyone just bugs the hell out of each other. And
so just button pushing. You're surrounded by people who are button pushing. You're like, that's the kind of comedy I want to see.
Yeah.
Is someone celebrating the trauma of my upbringing. And
I was a youth worker for 13 years. And
what kind of worker?
A youth worker. I worked with the youth.
Yeah.
And the team I had, we were just always doing that to each other, just bugging the hell out of each other when we'd have, the team meetings would be finished, or all the kids left and we're cleaning up after the workshop we did with them or something. And we'd be just bugging the hell out of each other. It was
the ball busting. The ball busting is intense. I've been doing stand-up comedy since 1985. And so I'm familiar with some ball busting, which might be why I'm kind of exhausted by it. But you like the TV show Roseanne.
Yeah.
Roseanne and Wonder Years are the last two. And those two I loved as well, just because like Roseanne was so uniquely, just unapologetically, this is my family. I love them. We're a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
But we're all it wasn't super mean or super feel goody, but it could be mean and it could be feel goody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is my favorite spot for a sitcom, quite honestly, because I don't mind a little bit of button pushing because, I am the youngest of six. It's not like I haven't, and I've been doing stand-up since 85. It's not like I haven't existed in that rarefied air. It's just, but what did you like about Roseanne?
I like the sarcasm.
Yeah?
I like the sarcasm. It is down a bit from Married with Children and the ball busting.
Sure.
And, but it's, the one I liked was Darlene.
Oh, yeah.
Darlene was she's hilarious.
She's a live action Daria, is what she felt like. You ever see that cartoon Daria?
No, I haven't.
If you get a chance, you would like it, because she is a sarcastic tiny goth child who is full of sarcasm.
Really?
Yeah. You would also enjoy, I think, probably Archer. Did you ever see that cartoon?
No.
You may not be a cartoon guy. Do you not?
We might not get it up here.
You might not because of Canada. Yeah, you might do it. And what about Wonder Years? See, Wonder Years, what do you love about that? That's an hour long. Yeah.
Wonder Years, it's just so much of our childhood.
Oh, nostalgia.
We weren't into that sarcasm yet. Mm-mm. We weren't into the ball busting yet. Mm-hmm. The ball busting probably started which is funny because when I did a lot of culture stuff with my parents, my mom and dad's best friend, Mark, would just bust my balls all the time. And I remember my dad telling me, I was about 4 years old, and my dad had a pool table in the basement and they were playing pool, and he was bugging me. And my dad turned around to do something, and I looked at Mark and went, said, hey,
for those of you,
and then
you got to tune into the YouTube to see that he just mouthed some words that a 4-year-old aren't quite so sentient that they know exactly what the correct thing to say to someone who's busting on him. Yeah.
So he was telling my dad about it. My dad just said, well, leave him alone then.
Exactly. Right. There is a response to that. And it is, don't do that. How about that? Knock it off.
I mean,
quit making fun of a 4-year-old, you adult person.
Right. And he bugged me right through until he passed away.
I love the idea of him on his deathbed going, Keith, no, come here, Keith. Yeah.
My mom did. my mom.
Oh, I love.
My mom just passed away of pancreatic cancer.
I am so sorry to hear that, but I definitely need to hear this story.
So my mom was strict.
Yeah.
She was very culturally. That was her life.
Mhm.
We always, you don't just represent yourself, you represent our family.
Yeah.
And oh man, it was really hard growing up.
A lot of responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but she came to my comedy shows.
Oh.
She was always at my comedy shows, and if she wasn't and someone else knew her, would say, I'm going to tell your mom your jokes. I said, go ahead. She's in some of them, and she comes to my shows.
Yeah.
So it was the day before she passed. She couldn't swallow. She couldn't keep her mouth moist.
Mm-hmm.
They had to put the
like an IV or
in her arm.
Oof.
And all the last couple of days, I'd hold her hand and I'd just squeeze, and then she'd squeeze back.
Oh.
And so
I'm so sorry, man, but that's beautiful. Yeah.
So the Friday after she passed away, Saturday morning, 7:30. Friday afternoon, I text my brothers and sisters and said, you guys better get over here ASAP.
Yeah.
So my brother works about 45 minutes away from us, so he had to find a replacement at work and rip down.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I want us to stand all together at mom's bed so she can see us. Hopefully she can open her eyes, because she couldn't even open her eyes.
Yeah.
And she can see us. And they're like, okay. So we all go stand there. And I said, Mom. And she went, I grabbed her arm and I said, Mom, it's okay. It's us. And she goes, gotcha. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, Mom?
Yes.
And I looked at my brother. So there's my brother's the oldest, and then myself, and then two younger sisters. And I look, and my brother just started crying.
Right, because it's so funny and so you're like, I'm gonna miss this person so much.
And then she goes,
God, that's so great.
She goes, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then she goes, ha ha ha. Are you fucking kidding me, Mom?
Yes.
Out of us. I said, was that because you're in some of my jokes? And she goes, and then she opens her eyes and she looks and she goes, love you. And then she closed her eyes, and later on that evening went home, and the next day she died. And I was like, oh my God, just because he said that on the deathbed, she got me good.
She got you really good. And that is,
I did not expect that whatsoever.
That's a great way to go, though. That's awesome. To go awesome. With comedy, with some funny and some dignity and with love.
And so at the end of my comedy special, it says, and they're filming my mom in the audience.
Okay.
Because she was really skinny.
Right.
And it says dedicated to my mom, Gloria, and my wife, Bernie.
Yay.
Because people were surprised my mom went to my shows, because I'm pretty dark. My humor's dark.
Oh, interesting. Well, you guys find Keith Nahanee doing stand-up comedy. Do you have other clips online besides the Comedy Invasion that's coming out?
I do comedy shows at Comedy After Dark.
Okay, so like does Bubba's _ comedy on Instagram have reels? Any sort of clips?
On my website. Oh, yes. On my website, I have a couple of reels. Yuck Yucks we have up here in Canada.
Yeah.
A lot of them are filmed at Yuck Yucks and just put together.
Fun. Yeah. And I like, how long is the set for Comedy Invasion? Is it a 20 or 30?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Nice. That's a good sense. Rangers? One. Oh, you only got one take?
Yeah.
That was my half-hour special in 2003 on Comedy Central. One take. And they were like, you got to do 30 minutes because we're going to cut it to 22 because of commercials. And they cut. They were notorious for not knowing where the jokes ended. And so everybody on the year that I did it tried to do just 22 minutes so that they wouldn't fuck up their jokes. and they made people go back out and do another 5 minutes so that there'd be enough time to so they could edit stuff out if they didn't want it. And so I did what I was told, like I always do.
Yeah.
And so I did 30 minutes, and get this, they fucked up one of my jokes. They took out one of the punchlines. I sound like a mad woman. I sound completely insane. I'm making fun of North Platte, Nebraska. It just ends. They never give the punchline of why I'm making fun of North Platte, Nebraska. No, I sound like a complete asshole.
Yeah.
And so be it. But I hope. And so have you got to see the cut yet?
Yes, I have, and they did send it to me.
They do a nice job.
So yeah, and I'm because it's coming out November 29th on the world streams.
Yep.
I'm showing mine this Friday, just my episode.
Yeah, that's so great.
They're doing it in Toronto, I think today, on all the episodes.
Oh, that's so cool.
But they did give me mine so I can have a private one of just my episode alone.
Okay. Yeah. They ought to. They sent me my copy of my half-hour special the day it aired, so that I couldn't. There was nothing to be done about it. Like, I wanted to call them when I saw it, and I was like, "You guys, you cut the punchline." I sound like a crazy person. And every time it airs, to this day, 100 years later, I get emails from North Platte, Nebraska going, "Well, screw you too." And
well, a lot of my some of my jokes are about churches on the reserve.
Really?
So
okay.
Out of all the jokes I've done, only one lady's gotten mad.
Okay.
Which is really good.
That's not bad. The odds on that, because someone's going to get mad, and you're like, well, I am sorry.
After we filmed, so Margin Films is the one that produced and directed Comedy Invasion, Quentin Lee. Okay. And he's in Toronto right now, premiering the whole series.
Oh, that's cool.
And the day after we filmed, he called and said, "What are you doing today?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Are you available for lunch?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh shit, what did I do?" So I met him for lunch. He said, "I really loved the reserve humor."
Okay.
He said, "It's really good. I want to know if you want to go partners on a comedy company called Res Comedy Limited."
Okay.
So we're starting that up. We're hitting up some companies to start this up, get some funding, and it's great.
When I started doing stand-up, there's one Native American, he's Ojibwe, and he's passed away probably 10 years ago. When I started, he had been doing it for like 10 years. So in 85, his name was Charlie Hill. Yes. And do you know Charlie Hill? You know that guy? Okay, yeah. He was such a good guy too. And his stand-up was super funny and very sweet. And also super dark. And occasionally just like, you're like, holy shit. And it was everything you wanted it to be, of someone like, someone who's from the reserve who had to, get past nine things when he gets on stage before he can tell a fucking joke. So, sometimes it can be, and it's better today than it was in 85 or in 75 when he started. But, but it is its own, I'm sure it's its own magic for you. When you get up there and you're like, yes, I will explain this. And then I will do comedy. I used to have to do it just as a woman, where you're just like, yes, it's okay. And now jokes. And then my dog barked. Keith Nahanee, is there anything you want to say about 70s or 80s TV shows or Metallica? We didn't talk about the other one, how you like to bait cops if you can get away with it. And occasionally you enjoy a little crystal clutching. But we'll get you back on. We'll talk about that another time. But is there anything you want to say to the Rangers of the Dork Forest?
Just learn from our ancestors of comedy.
Ooh, there you go. Exactly.
Yes. Some of the movements I've learned from the older comics until I found my own. Truth. Everyone always says, "Who do you think you'll be like?" And I'm like, Well, because of my impatientness and my grumpiness, I thought I'd be like Dennis Leary
Oh, interesting.
because he's such a spaz. He's such a
Yeah.
angry guy, and that's who I thought I'd be like. And
You realize when people see what you look like, you do not look like you are a cherub. You have giant dimples. And there's absolutely no, yeah, that guy looks like he's going to fuck everybody up. And this is why Dennis Leary cast himself as a firefighter. Because the guy's a marshmallow.
Yeah.
So,
and then I ended up, I think, sort of like George Carlin. Who
okay.
tells the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I tell the truth about our way of life,
Mm-hmm.
trying to fit into the mainstream, but I do it in a humorous way. And people go, holy fuck, but that's true.
But it's true. And
Yeah.
but there was a punchline, and I enjoyed that. Yes.
And through the TV shows that I mentioned, you know, a lot of the younger comics I do shows with are scared to get canceled.
Oh, are
And
they
I'm
scared?
like,
Don't they know that once you're canceled, you get to play stadiums? Joe Rogan's playing stadiums, man. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like all of the assholes who are genuinely Louis C.K. he's a bajillionaire. No
Yeah.
longer, yeah. So don't be afraid to be canceled. Be afraid of being a dick, is what I say. Just don't be a monster and keep it in your pants when you're at work. How about that? Because you're in work.
I run a show called Can't We Just All Get Along?
Uh,
One black guy, one white guy, one Chinese guy, one native, one Irish, whatever I can get.
no
And
women.
it's
No
racist.
women. It's just
Yeah,
all men just trying to get along.
No, there's women.
Oh, you have women too? Oh, good for
Yeah.
you.
And it's a racist show.
Okay.
You tell your best racist jokes, which you can't be derogatory.
Right. Then those aren't racist, then that's racial.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, just
And
that it's a fine line, my friend. But
yes,
racists are trying to like actually kill people and be mean. But
okay.
racial, you're just saying we're all a bunch of weirdos.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we do 5 to 7 minutes each. We're all on stage together.
Oh.
And then we go off stage. My brother, who's a rock and roll fanatic, will come and do I'll do music trivia with him. He's been on 8 of my shows, went up against 26 people and only lost once.
Ooh, all right.
And then he'll go off and then we'll
bit of a music nerd.
Yeah. Okay. And everyone will come back on stage and then another 5 to 7 minutes, but we could only make fun of our own.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, it feels roast battle-y. It feels
it almost is, but
yeah.
I tell them, you know, it's not towards the comics. You have to tell your best jokes
towards an entire group.
Yeah.
So Keith Nahanee, thank you so much for doing the Dork Forest, and I'm looking forward to seeing your Comedy Invasion set. And it is BubbasComedyShow.com at Bubbas_comedy on Instagram and Bubba's Comedy Show on Facebook. Keith Nahanee, you guys, thanks for doing the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?